Alright, hey YouTubey, Spacebot here. Riding with Mike S behind me on his BMW S1000RR. And Mike had a good idea for a vlog, which is a little update on my bike and what do I think of it so far and how has it been now that I've had it for a couple months. Along with a little mini review of the tires, which are the Diablo Rosso 3. Ooh, rider ahead of us, let's catch him. So what do I think about the bike? Well, the bike is amazing, and I'll leave it at that. No, I'm just kidding. So at first the bike felt pretty tallish, kind of big-ish. You know, I knew I loved it. I had ridden it before. It wasn't that much of a surprise. This looks like an old Ninja 250. So what do I think of the bike? The bike basically just feels like home now. I got really used to it, you know. I just got used to the height and how it handles and how deep I can go into a turn before tipping it in. And I just love the thing. It just feels like it fits like a glove when I'm up and riding, and it's super easy to manage. The bike is only 23 pounds heavier than a Ninja 300 wet weight, and it feels like it. It feels like a very light, super fast Ninja 300 with top shelf parts, Brembo, Owens, carbon fiber, the whole 9 yards. It looks like it was designed by a space pod design team. I mean, it is so close to my own design aesthetic that I don't even know what to do with myself. I just love the way it looks. I love the lights, I love everything about it, except I wish both headlights were on with the low beam, but I could fix that if I wanted to, perhaps with projectors. I love the way it corners. Watch, I crashed. No, I'm just kidding. I love the way it corners. It's so stable. And a lot of this has to do with the tires I'm rocking, which are the Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3 tires, the successors to the 2s. And as you guys know or don't know, on the Ninja 300, which I call the ZX3R lovingly, I had the Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2s, and I love those tires. I trusted those tires. These are the next gen Diablo Rosso 3, and they're just phenomenal. Good grip, good feel, great warm up, good in the wet. Basically all season tires, but super great in the canyons. I like them better than the Dunlop Q3s by a lot. I know people love the Q3s. I did not like them. These I do love. The warm-up is so quick. It's super confidence inspiring. So the bike is phenomenal, and if you're gonna move up from any smaller bike, definitely check out this bike. Even if it feels a little tall, remember that I had the seat shaved on this puppy, so I was able to get about an inch closer to the ground with my foot, or get a little bit more inseam out of it by shaving the seat down. And this means no changes to the suspension. For the suspension, I used some settings from Sport Rider, which I love. I weigh about 160 pounds. I should be 145 fighting weight, but I'm about 160, and I love the settings, and I will post them for you if you want to copy them. Look for them in the description. If you have a Daytona, you want to try them out, go ahead, make yourself a little database of all the different settings. So if you want to switch back, you can. I love the carbon fiber on this thing. You know, I love the way the exhaust is, and the fact that they got rid of the undertail exhaust, I think is great. Now it's more of an under engine exhaust, which is better for mass centralization. So that is great too. I'm also rocking the Austin Racing V3 pipe titanium, and I have a baffle for it, but I'm not currently using it. But baffle or no baffle, there's only about a 5 dB difference, and it's quieter in general than what I had before, which is the GP2R pipe. That was way too loud. The V3 titanium is fantastic, and by the way, you can use Windex to clean titanium. The windscreen stock is excellent. I don't even think I need an aftermarket windscreen. The gauges are a little hard to read because of the setup. It's sort of like a white on black reversed out kind of LED look, or LCD I should say. And it's not the most readable gauge in the world, but I've gotten used to reading them. It does have a gear indicator, as you would expect. It's got a quick shifter because I have the R version. Once you have a quick shifter, you're probably not going to want to go back to not having one. Owens shocks, as you can see right here, Owens forks I should say. Owens in the rear as well, adjustable obviously, with little grips or twisties. I'll show you that later. The mirrors are really good on this bike. It's it's a triple, so the engine is not nearly as wide as an inline 4, and so the bike is very, very narrow at the waist and at the tank, so it's very easy to grip with your knees, especially if you have some tech spec pads. What else, man? I mean, the thing just looks phenomenal. I love the power. It's 675 cc's, which I think is perfectly adequate for the street. Of course, I like a liter bike too, but for my needs, I think it's great. It's got a really nice balance of being lightweight and powerful, and I just love it. On a long trip over the 300, this thing just eats up miles. When I went to the SoCal Motovlogger Meetup 2016, I had to go to San Bernardino and Palm Springs, and man, I just got there so effortlessly. It was incredible, an incredible change from the 300. The 300 is like going over the Adirondacks on a donkey. I mean, by the time you get anywhere, you know you've been on a 300, you feel it. The bike always feels a little bit too small for the freeway, because it is. The 300 is phenomenal in the twisties, but it's a little small for California freeways, especially at free-flowing traffic. So yeah, for the freeway use and even in twisties, I do like this bike better overall. The flickability of the 300 is nice, but this thing feels so close to that, and with so much more power, and it's so sensitive. I mean, it just flicks into turns pretty easily for a bike of its power. Like I said, 23 pounds heavier than a Ninja 300. You're not that far off from a... What's with the crossing of the double yellow? You're not that far off from the 300. Suffice it to say that this bike for me is a 10 and maybe a 9.5. I don't know, it's good. And it's really my perfect bike, I think. But I've tried so many, so you guys have seen how many bikes I've tried. I've had a good basis of comparison to date. And I do recommend that you don't buy any bike unless you try it, or a model just like it. Same year and all that stuff. Thank you, Cager. You should always thank a Cager who lets you buy, build goodwill, make their day. They're happy, you're happy. Altruism, remember, is an evolutionary selection because it makes you feel good. You're not just helping someone else, you also feel good. So what else do I love about the bike? The acceleration is phenomenal. It's a triple. The engine sound, fantastic. The intake howl is gorgeous. Quick shifter is phenomenal. I know I'm being a little hyperbolic here. The braking, as you would expect with the Brembo, is, you know, 1 or 2 fingers good. And sometimes I use the rear brake on slow speed stuff. And it just turns so easily. It's like telepathic. You do not have to fight the bike. The bike holds the line very well, tips in perfectly. I mean, I was blown away by this bike when I first rode it, and I'm still quite enamored with it, as you can tell. The previous owner did a lot of really nice mods that I'm quite happy with too, with the Watson side marker lights and the Pozzo levers here in white no less, which is a custom color. I do need to re-customize the left blade here because it says Matty Rich, and that's a service that Pozzo provides. You can actually, for 25 bucks, you can make it say whatever you want. So I'm probably going to have new ones in white that say Space Pod, or a new left blade that says Space Pod. And really, this bike is so amazing, you don't need to do too much to it. What can I say? It's one of my favorite bikes that I've ever ridden. Pretty much my favorite of all bikes, especially of the Super Sport. The bike is English. It's my first English bike, my first English vehicle ever. And maintenance costs are not too high. I just went to Pro Italia and it's pretty reasonable. Alright guys, well, the other thing to think about is how many dealers are there near you? How many Triumph dealers do you have nearby? Big pothole left. I don't mind traveling to my Triumph dealer because, hey, I get to ride my Triumph some more. But if you don't have one for like 200 miles, that might be a consideration. Of course, you can get a mechanic who knows how to work on Triumphs, but if you're way on the boondocks, that might be difficult to come by as well. Either way, rarity aside, I think the rarity is one of the beautiful things about it, and I just love the bike. Can't recommend it enough. Alright, that's it from me, everybody. Thanks for watching. This has been Space Pod coming at you. Until next time, Space Pod out.